analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. They must use a SWOT analysis to decide on the competitive advantage they will use in the marketplace. The next step is that companies must decide on which strategic alternative they will use to market their product or service. A strategic alternative is the game plan that a company chooses in order to get the largest growth and profits with the lowest risk. Companies can choose to go in 4 different ways: market penetration, market development, product development, and diversification. A company that decides to use a market penetration strategy would plan to increase profits by increasing market share among existing customers. When Coca-Cola runs a special summer sweepstakes contest with spectacular prize giveaways, the plan is to increase market share by using promotional methods. When Hershey Candy offers 2 bags of candy for $5 at Target around Halloween, they are also using market penetration through an incentive for customers to possibly buy more than they originally intended. Sometimes companies concentrate on developing a new customer base. They want to attract new customers to their existing product lines. This is called market development. One key way of achieving this is to find new ways to use existing products. A perfect example is Arm & Hammer baking soda. They constantly find new ways to bring in additional customers. In fact, their promotional campaigns always indicate the many uses, such as cleaning pesticides off fruit, brushing your teeth, baking, deodorizing, etc. Another way companies can increase their new customers is to target new markets. For example, McDonald's has had much of their growth overseas and is looking to gain even more customers in Eastern Europe. Another strategic alternative is product development. In a product development strategy, companies create new products for current markets. Some examples of this type of strategy would be Microsoft's Xbox gaming console, Pretzel's M&M's candy, and Apple's iPad. Companies constantly look for ideas for new products. Did you know that in the food category alone, over 20,000 new products are introduced to the marketplace each year? The last strategy a company can use is called diversification. This strategy has the most risk because when a company not only develops new products, but also pushes into new markets. A great example is when Disney went from making movies to building theme parks. When a firm is able to be successful at this strategy, they can reap large market share and profits. Companies must thoroughly research the new product development process and the new markets. One of the worst failures was when Colgate tried to make frozen dinners and Cosmopolitan magazine marketed yogurt. The company should have stuck with teeth and magazines. Large companies create SBUs, or strategic business units, to help them manage their organization's growth. SBUs are business divisions set up to make the larger organizations more nimble and provide flexibility and control in the marketplace. Campbell's Soup has had their large company divided into smaller SBUs such as USA, Bakery and Confectionery, and International Grocery. Companies always have certain SBUs that are more successful than others and might need a different strategic plan. SBUs can be categorized in a portfolio matrix, which classifies each SBU by its present or forecast growth and market share. The portfolio matrix is set up with a market share dominance, the share is relative to the largest competitor on the x-axis, and the market growth rate on the y-axis in constant dollars. The portfolio matrix consists of 4 matrix areas: stars, cash cows, problem children, and dogs. A star is a market leader with tremendous growth potential. Most stars require a large amount of cash investment for product development and promotion to stay ahead of competition. Samsung has developed its tablet computers, a fast-growing industry, but needs to continue to invest in the product in order to maintain a market share. A cash cow is an SBU that generates heaps of cash and does not need a large investment to maintain market share and sales. Laptop computers would be considered cash cows because they sell consistently in a slower growth industry and don't require much investment. Heinz has 2 large cash cows to milk. ketchup, and Weight Watchers frozen dinners, both products that maintain a large market share without development or advertising costs. A problem child has good growth potential but very poor profit margins. Just like a star, problem children also need a large amount of cash or they will end up as dogs. Many times, companies end up divesting their problem children after pumping large amounts of cash into trying to get them to succeed. For example, when gas prices were low in the 1990s, very large SUVs sold out like hotcakes. Once gas prices hit close to $4 a gallon, those same cash cows became problem children. The last area in the matrix is a dog. A dog has very low growth opportunity and very small market share. These poor performing products eventually become extinct. Frito-Lay's dog was the Stuffers cheese-filled snack, and recent dogs were the CD and the VCR, which have both gone out of production. Once a company has classified their SBUs in the matrix, they must then decide their future plans. They have 4 choices for each matrix. There are 4 ways to allocate resources in the matrix. A company can build, hold, harvest, or divest. If a company has a star or a problem child that has great potential with some investment, a company will choose the first option, build. An example of a product that was a problem child, but with good management and investment became a star, is Procter & Gamble's Pringles chips. Procter & Gamble used 3 different people to develop the chip and brought the brand to the forefront with its catchy "Once you pop, you just can't stop" ad campaign. If an SBU is a profitable cash cow, then the choice would be to hold and not invest anything but continue to reap the profits. A great example of this hold strategy is any of Apple's products, which continue to sell strongly with little input. Problem children, dogs, and cash cows all have the option of the harvest allocation of resources. Harvesting is when a company runs operations for short-term cash flow and does not plan for the future of the product. Companies that harvest their products usually do not spend any money on promotion or advertising. A great product example is shredded wheat cereal, which continue to sell well without bold advertising or reinvention. Lastly, a company can plan to divest or uninvest its SBU because of low profits and small market share. Usually, the dogs find themselves in these situations if a company cannot turn them around. Divest is the opposite of invest. So instead of putting more money into failing brands like Oldsmobile, Betamax, and record players, the companies decided to divest themselves of these SBUs. Having a competitive advantage is one thing, but knowing what to do next is an important step for a company. After conducting a SWOT analysis, finding the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for a product or brand, a company decides which strategic alternative will serve them the best. They can decide to penetrate the market of existing customers, find new markets to explore, develop new products, or push new products into new markets. By dividing large companies into strategic business units, companies can choose whether to build, hold, harvest, or divest specific products and brands to ensure product, profit, and market growth. Whether these SBUs are up-and-coming stars, top-earning cash cows, in need of development problem children, or lazy dogs, companies use portfolio matrices to determine the best decision for the business.